All right, let's jump right in. We're taking a deep dive into Swiggy's first earnings call since they went public.
Yeah, their IPO, definitely big news.
Huge. And it's kind of cool because this call, it's like we're getting a sneak peek into their strategy session. We'll be looking at their different business segments, like what's working, what's not.
The industry as a whole, too, right?
Exactly. The whole landscape.
Yeah.
And the factors that are driving their success, what's helping them along. And then, of course, their plans, what they're looking to do in the future. And, any potential bumps in the road, the risks they might face.
Always got to look at both sides.
Oh, and get this. They've acquired a pickleball team.
What? Really?
Pickleball.
Yep. We'll get to that later, I promise. It's an interesting one. But first, let's dig into their core business, food delivery.
Yeah, got to start with the bread and butter.
Right. So they reported an 11% growth quarter over quarter, which is impressive on its own.
Definitely solid.
But here's the kicker. That growth is accelerating. They hit 30% year over year.
Wow, so they're not just keeping up, they're gaining speed. Exactly. So a big factor in that is their new 10-minute delivery service, Swiggy Bolt.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. Is that working out for them?
It's only been 8 weeks since they launched it, and it's already making up 5% of their total platform volume.
That's a pretty big impact in a short time.
Right, and they're being strategic about it, too, focusing on a tight delivery radius, keeping it manageable.
Makes sense, and focusing on menu items that are quick to prepare, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to optimize for speed. Now, you might think, like I did initially, that this would limit them, right? Just snacks and quick bites.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be hard to offer a lot of variety with that kind of time constraint.
But here's the thing. They've managed to bring in a surprisingly diverse range of cuisines, and the average order values are comparable to their main platform.
Interesting. So it's not just about grabbing a quick snack. It's about getting whatever you want, fast.
Precisely. They're tapping into those sudden cravings, the late-night dessert emergencies, those moments where speed is everything.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you can get it in 10 minutes, why not? It almost becomes impulse buying.
It's like they're rewiring our expectations for food delivery altogether, making us think, why wait?
Makes you wonder, though, is Bolt cannibalizing their existing orders, or is it creating a whole new demand?
That's the million-dollar question. Swiggy's leadership seems to think it's the latter, that they're tapping into new occasions, new needs.
Yeah, it's like those late-night cravings you mentioned. They might not have ordered anything before, but now with that 10-minute option.
Exactly. It's a whole new ball game. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about their quick commerce platform, Instamart, another big area for growth.
Yeah, that whole space is exploding right now. Everyone wants everything delivered yesterday.
It's wild. So they're seeing a 24% quarter-over-quarter growth there. Pretty remarkable.
That's huge. What's their strategy there? Just undercutting everyone on price?
They are definitely prioritizing market leadership. They're planning to double their network of dark stores, those micro-fulfillment centers, in the next few months.
Whoa, that's a bold move, especially with how competitive that market is.
For sure. Everyone's vying for a piece of that pie, and that's impacting everything. Their marketing spend, their pricing strategies, you name it.
So are they sacrificing profitability for growth then?
It seems like they're playing the long game, building a sustainable business, even if it means taking a hit on profits in the short term.
It's a classic land grab. Gotta secure that market share now and hope it pays off later.
Exactly. But they're not naive about the risks. They acknowledge that this fierce competition could mean some ups and downs in the coming quarters.
So the big question is, what will it take to win in this space? Is it just about speed and discounts, or is it something more?
Right. What about product variety, customer experience? Those have got to play a role.
It'll be fascinating to see how it all shakes out. But hey, before we move on, remember that pickleball team?
Oh, yeah. Almost forgot. Swiggy acquired the rights to a Mumbai pickleball team.
Okay, now I'm really curious. How does that fit into their business at all?
I know, right? Yeah. It seemed like a head-scratcher at first, but they explained that it's a very limited investment.
So not like a major strategic shift or anything.
No, it seems more driven by the growing popularity of recreational sports, pickleball in particular.
So a little brand building, tapping into a trend.
Exactly, engaging with a new audience. But let's zoom out now and look at the bigger picture. What's their take on the industry overall?
Yeah, good point. How's the overall landscape looking?
Well, while some sectors are definitely feeling the economic pinch, Swiggy's core businesses, food delivery, quick commerce, and dining out, they seem to be doing all right, defying the slowdown.
Interesting. And what about their restaurant partners? Any signs of trouble there?
Surprisingly, no, they haven't seen any significant pressure on spending from their restaurant partners. So now the question is, are these sectors genuinely resilient? Are we in a temporary bubble? Or is there something else going on? What's driving this continued spending in these specific areas?
That is a good question. What do you think?
Well, we'll dig into that and all the other factors contributing to Swiggy's success, their future outlook, and potential risks in the next part of our deep dive.
I'm looking forward to it. All right, so we've seen that Swiggy's core businesses seem to be doing pretty well, all things considered.
Yeah, holding strong despite those economic headwinds we talked about.
But what's behind that success? What's propelling them forward?
Well, a big one, a really big one, is this growing consumer demand for convenience.
Yeah, makes sense. Everyone's busy these days.
Right. People are busier than ever, and they're definitely willing to pay a bit more for those services that save them time and effort.
It's like time is the new currency.
It really is. And this whole trend, it's driving growth, not just in food delivery, but in quick commerce too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it. It's not just about individual preferences anymore.
Right. It's bigger than that.
It's about these larger shifts in society, like more single-person households, fewer traditional families.
Yeah, changing demographics.
And that's changing the way we shop, the way we eat, creating this perfect environment for companies like Swiggy to thrive.
They're definitely in the right place at the right time, that's for sure. And they're not just riding the wave either.
No, they're actively shaping it.
They've got incredible brand recognition and a huge existing customer base, especially in the quick commerce space.
Yeah, those are some major assets, that's for sure. But are they sustainable? What are the threats to all of this?
That's the big question, right? Like, what if consumer preferences shift again?
Exactly, or new competition pops up.
Those are valid concerns, no doubt. So let's look ahead now. What's Swiggy's outlook for the future? How are they planning to tackle these potential challenges?
Lay it on me.
Well, they seem pretty confident. They're aiming for continued growth and market leadership in both food delivery and quick commerce.
Makes sense. Got to keep that momentum going.
Exactly. And innovation is key for them.
Like what? What are they cooking up?
Well, they're constantly experimenting, like with Swiggy Bolt. And they even hinted at potentially exploring new categories.
New categories? Like what?
Like pharma. Can you imagine? Getting your medications delivered in 10 minutes.
No, that would be a game changer.
Right. And it made sense. They're already building that infrastructure for speed and convenience.
Yeah, leverage what you've got. But let's stick with their current categories for a minute. What else are they doing to stay ahead in food delivery and quick commerce?
Well, they're talking about expanding their product range in quick commerce, offering a wider selection, trying to increase basket sizes.
A smart move.
And, of course, they're investing heavily in technology.
Yeah, got to keep up with the times.
Streamlining operations, improving the customer experience, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
But all of that takes money, right?
Lots of it.
So what about their long-term profitability? Are they going to have to choose between growth and margins?
Tough call. Growth is exciting, but got to make money eventually.
Right. It seems like they're prioritizing growth right now, even if it means sacrificing some profit in the short term.
It's a gamble for sure, but if they can grab enough market share, maybe they can dictate prices later on.
That's the bet they're making. But it's not all sunshine and roses. There are risks.
Always are. That's business. What are they most worried about?
Well, the biggest one, the elephant in the room, is the competition in quick commerce. It's getting fierce.
Yeah, everyone and their mother is trying to get in on that action.
New players are popping up left and right. Existing players are upping their game. And that's putting pressure on everyone, squeezing those margins.
So it's a race, but a race to where? The top or the bottom?
That's the question, isn't it? Swiggy seems confident, but they know it's not a guaranteed win.
So what's the key then? What's going to make the difference?
They're focusing on staying agile, being able to adapt quickly, responding to those market changes, It's like navigating uncharted waters. You got to be ready for anything.
You said it. So what does all this mean for Swiggy's future? And maybe more importantly, what does it mean for our listeners?
Yeah, good point. Why should they care?
Whether you're a loyal Swiggy customer, a potential investor, or just someone trying to understand where the world's headed, there's a lot to learn here.
Swiggy's story, it's about more than just food and groceries.
It's about innovation, it's about adaptability, it's about recognizing how consumer behavior is changing and riding that wave.
They're not just reacting, they're shaping expectations, making us wonder if even 30-minute grocery delivery is fast enough anymore.
It makes you think, what's next? What other needs are out there just waiting to be disrupted? What other industries are going to be transformed by this need for speed and personalization?
We've been diving deep into Swiggy's world. Their performance, their strategies, all the things shaping their journey.
It's a pretty fascinating story, right?
Definitely. But let's take a step back for a second. Think about what it all means for you, the listener. Why should you care about all this?
Well, whether you're ordering your dinner through Swiggy or grabbing groceries on Instamart,
Or maybe you're just trying to figure out this crazy world we live in.
Swiggy's story, it's got some valuable lessons, about innovation, about adapting, about recognizing how consumer behavior is shifting, those big trends.
They're not just going with the flow, they're shaping it.
Making us wonder if 30-minute delivery is even fast enough anymore, pushing the boundaries.
What does that mean for other businesses, other industries? Makes you think.
So a wake-up call, you gotta stay agile.
Be ready to change, to anticipate those trends, those shifts.
Like their whole pickleball thing.
Right. Who would have thought?
It shows they're willing to try new things, to connect with people in unexpected ways.
That's a big takeaway for all of us, in this fast-paced world. If you stand still, you fall behind.
Complacency, that's the killer.
Whether you're an entrepreneur, an investor, or just figuring out your own path, you gotta be able to adapt.
Swiggy's success and the challenges they face, it's like a window into the future of how businesses need to operate, putting the consumer first.
That demand for convenience, for instant gratification, it's not going anywhere.
So what's next? What other needs are out there just waiting for someone to shake things up?
What other industries are going to be transformed by this need for speed, for personalized experiences?
It's food for thought, for sure.
As we wrap up this deep dive, we'll leave you with one final thought-provoking question.
A little something to ponder.
Will Swiggy's bet on speed and convenience, will it fundamentally change the landscape for Indian consumers?
And what other seemingly unrelated consumer needs are they poised to tap into next? Only time will tell.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Swiggy's world. It's been a fascinating journey.
Until next time, keep those brains buzzing and stay curious.